Well, it's the last first round playoff preview video for the 2025 OHL playoffs. And this series, I think a lot of people are intrigued by. It's the fourth seed Oshawa Generals against the fifth seed Brampton Steelheads. During the preseason, everyone was picking these two teams to maybe finish first and second in the Eastern Conference. And now they have to face each other in the first round. Two very talented teams. Of course, the Oshawa Generals went to the OHL final last year. A lot of those players returning this season and now playing a Brampton team that's been pretty hot for the last couple of weeks. As the second half much different than what we saw in the first. And the season series was split 2 games apiece between Oshawa and Brampton. The last meeting was in Brampton March 5th, and Oshawa won that game by a final score of 4-0. So Oshawa winning the most recent meeting between these two teams. And what's also interesting is how they were both 1-1 on the road. So it's no one dominated on their own home ice. It's very back and forth. So this series pretty even. Don't be surprised if this series goes 7 games between these two teams. Now, over their last 10, Oshawa 5-4-1. They did win their last 2 games of the regular season, so some momentum going into the playoffs. While Brampton 7-2-1 over their last 10 and a 6-game winning streak. One of those wins over the Brantford Bulldogs, who finished first in the Eastern Conference standings. So, like I said, a lot of firepower on both of these teams. And when we break down the stats, the power play favors Oshawa. They had the ninth best power play unit at 23%, while Brampton's power play 13th at 21.1%. On the penalty kill, Oshawa doing a good job, 79.9%, which was 8th best in the OHL, whereas Brampton's penalty kill has struggled. 15th overall at 76.6%. So if there's an area for Oshawa to exploit, it's going to be on specialty teams. When you look at goals for, however, Brampton, 4th best, 298 goals for. They've got so much firepower up front. You got Porter Martone, Angus McDonnell, and Carson Rakoff, one of the best lines in the OHL when they're put together. Plus, if Vilmer Ulrichsen is back from his injury, look for him to make a big difference. Of course, he was acquired from the Guelph Storm ahead of the OHL trade deadline. But for Oshawa, 261 goals for. A little surprise. I thought they would have been near the top, but still a good amount. They did have a plus in the goal differential. And then it's the goals against. Oshawa, 218 goals against, which is the 3rd fewest in the OHL. So a good sign there for the Generals. And then for Brampton, they gave up 240 goals over the course of the regular season. Now, the penalty minutes, pretty close. 868 penalty minutes for Oshawa, 888 for Brampton. So pretty close there when it comes to that category. When looking at the top 5 scorers for the Oshawa Generals, it starts with Beckett Seneca, the Anaheim Ducks prospect. 36 goals, 50 assists, 86 points. Luca Morelli, second with 19 goals, 55 assists, 74 points. Callum Ritchie of the Colorado Avalanche, 15 goals, 55 assists, 70 points. Actually, Ritchie, his playing rights were traded to the New York Islanders, if my memory serves me right. 4th in scoring for Oshawa, Colby Barlow, a Winnipeg Jets prospect, 32 goals, 29 assists, 61 points. And then Luke Torrance rounds out the top 5, 24 goals, 29 assists, 53 points. So that top 5 alone has a lot of firepower. But let's look at the top 5 now for the Brampton Steelheads. Porter Martone leads the way with 37 goals, 61 assists, 98 points. So close to hitting 100. And then you got Carson Rakoff, 42 goals, 44 assists, 86 points. Luke Misa, 3rd in scoring with 34 goals, 51 assists, 85 points. Finn Harding, a great defenseman for the Brampton Steelheads, 4th in team scoring, 7 goals, 50 assists, 57 points. And then Angus McDonnell, who missed a large portion of the season due to injury, comes in 5th with 27 goals, 27 assists, 54 points. In goal, this is going to be fun because I feel like both teams have strong goaltending. Jacob Oster leads the way for Oshawa. 31-17-3 was his record. 2.81 goals against average and a 903 save percentage. Remember, Oster was named OHL Goaltender of the Year last season. And backing him up is Isaac Gravel with a 9-3-1 record, 3.36 goals against average, and an 877 save percentage. And then for Brampton, I do like their 1-2 punch in net. Starts with Jack Ivankovic, a 25-12-5 record, 3.05 goals against, and a 903 save percentage. And then Braden Gillespie, who they picked up from the Guelph Storm at the trade deadline, 17-17-2 was his record, 3.76 goals against average, and an 881 save percentage. Now, I feel as though the games in Guelph may have dragged down his numbers a little bit because Gillespie showed last year how important he is between the pipes for the Guelph Storm. And if Ivan Kovic needs a rest or if something happens, Gillespie is more than capable of taking over in net. So it's going to be really interesting just how close these teams are at the firepower, the goaltending, and some of those stat categories. The last time that the Steelheads and Generals met in the playoffs, you have to go back to 2017, and that's where the Mississauga Steelheads defeated Oshawa in 5 games, and that was a second round meeting back in 2017. Now, the series does get underway on Friday. That's going to be in Oshawa. Game 2 Sunday evening in Oshawa. And then the series will shift to Brampton for Game 3. That's on Tuesday, April 1st. And then Game 4 will be on Thursday, April 3rd. I'm fascinated to see how this series goes. I know a lot of fans excited for this matchup. I would not be surprised if it goes 7 games. But let me know in the comments below, what are your expectations with this series? Who do you think has the advantage? And how many games will it take to decide the winner of this one? Love the interaction. Thank you very much for your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Talk to you again soon.